Today I'm going to show you how to make this 1/12 scale vegetable basket inspired by a photograph I saw on Pinterest. And for the basket I've used a wood called a beche in 1.5mm thickness, that's 1/16 of an inch. You could use basswood, lime wood, gelatol, just any nice soft craft wood. For the mesh, this is a mesh that's used for sort of railways, for sculpting scenery, but it works really well with miniatures. And find something that's quite pliable, so a nice fine gauge mesh. Super glue to attach the mesh, and then clamps with rubber tips, so rather than wooden clothes pegs, to hold the mesh into place whilst the super glue is drying. And then to colour the piece I've used wood dye, normal household interior wood dye, but you could of course leave it natural wood colour. You could use varnish or even shoe polish to colour your basket, depending on the display you're going to use it for. And I've used this as a vegetable basket, but you could make it a slightly smaller one and perhaps use it as an egg basket. Might look quite nice. It would look really good in a sort of rustic country kitchen scene or an outdoor scene. Okay, so we're going to begin by rounding both corners along one long edge of both side pieces. So I've done this piece. So have the sandpaper on your worktop and hold the corner of the piece of wood against it at a 45-degree angle, and then just sweep it towards you, sort of bringing it up into an upright position as you do so. And that'll just gradually begin to create a curved corner. Keep sort of checking it, see if you're happy with it as you go. That's quite a nice shape now, so I'll do the other corner. Same thing again. And just check that they look the same. And then you can take a small piece of sort of medium grade sandpaper and just finish that off in your hand. So just sort of round the corners, smooth the edges at the same time. And on the other side as well. Okay, and then take the ruler and you just want to make a pencil mark in the centre of that bottom edge. So we've taken the corners off, so just make sure that the side is in line on your ruler with the sort of start measurement. And just make a pencil mark in the centre there. And the same on the other one. Like that. And then take one of the internal supports. I've just got some glue here that I've dispensed onto a piece of card, and just put a bit of glue on each end, and then attach that to the side so that the centre of it is in the centre of that pencil mark. Just press those together. So here we're just creating the bottom support, and then turn the piece onto its side, and then with the remaining two supports apply glue to each end. And then you want to attach one to each side of the piece so that it's level with the top hand side, and so that the wider edge is facing towards the side. And the final internal support piece, and again glue on both ends, and then that goes on the other side. And then just allow that glue just to dry off for a moment, and then we're going to attach the remaining side, and I found that just leaving it laying like that is the easiest way of doing it. Just begin by getting those top supports level with the tops of the piece, and press it down a little bit, and just be really gentle here because this is quite fragile. It's liable just to collapse. And then you can check if that bottom support is in the right place. And again, you can just use a cocktail stick to manoeuvre that into position, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be bang on. This is just the support at the bottom of the crate. And if those side supports move again, I'm trying to do it here so my hands aren't in the way, but you could just manoeuvre those back into position and press it all together. And then just leave that piece to one side to dry. Once the glue has completely dried, we can attach the mesh. So cut the piece of mesh to size, and then we want to shape it around the wood first. So place the wood roughly in the centre and just pull each side piece up, shaping it around the curve, and on the other side as well. And if you find here that you've cut it just a little bit too large and there's any overhangings at this top edge, trim them off now before it's glued. Just makes it easier. And then to attach the mesh, we're going to use super glue. So apply the glue around each side piece, around each curve. And because super glue dries so quickly, you need to act quite fast here. So I want it around each curve and then along each of these front supports. Like that. And then place it down again on the mesh. Press it down quite firmly and then push those sides up, but without sort of getting your fingers on the glue. And then using, just pull that off completely. Using a clamp that's got a plastic tip rather than a wooden clothes peg, clamp that into place along those supports. I just want to move that over while the glue's still wet. This might seem a bit overkill for such a small item, but it's the only way I can think of to hold it while the glue is drying. And you can press it down again at the sides to make sure the bottom part is sticking. And super glue dries quite quickly, so you don't want to leave the clamps on for too long. So just leave that for 30 seconds or so. So once the super glue has dried, we can attach the external supports which go along these outside edges. So back to the wood glue and just apply a line along that top edge. Same on the other side. And then press the support into place. Oops. Making sure it's flush with the top of the internal support, and the one on the other side as well. And just press those together, and then because we're sort of gluing over the mesh, again we're going to need the clamps. So just carefully put those into place. One more. And again, that can just be left to dry. So make a pencil mark in the centre of each of these side pieces. Just across there, and on the other side as well. And then we're going to attach the handle on the outer edge of the basket. And just so it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, I'm just using a scrap of 3x3 or 1/8 of an inch strip wood here, just as a spacer. So just put that at the bottom there. Apply glue about halfway up the handle support, and then attach it so that it's sitting centrally in front of that pencil line. And the support there is just acting as a rest at the bottom. Just press that into place. And then do the same on the other side. Just remove any excess glue. And then just dot a bit of glue on the top of each support and attach the handle. Just gently press that down. And again, we're just going to leave that to dry. So using a sort of medium grit sandpaper, I've got a small piece here, just sand along the edges of each handle just to make sure that they're flush, and then just very gently sweep the paper over the edge of the handle just to round off that edge. And on the other side. And you can just sort of sand off these side pieces at the same time, just to ensure everything's flush. And then if you've got any glue marks on the edge, you can sand there as well. And that's actually super glue there. I'm not sure if my wood dye will take over it, but it's a rustic basket anyway, so it doesn't have to have a perfect finish. On that side as well. And then to colour the piece, I'm using this wood dye, and it's just a normal household interior wood dye, and a little goes a long way, and it gives a nice coverage as well. So I've just dispensed a little piece here into the lid, and you can actually paint over the mesh because obviously it won't take on the mesh, so it'll just go onto the wood beneath. As a final finishing touch, I just want to put a few nail holes along the front of the support there. So just using something with a sharp point, you could even just use a pin, just press into the wood, then one at either end, one in the middle, and then in between those. And do that on both sides, just adds a nice little finishing touch. And there's the completed vegetable basket. Hope you've enjoyed this project. If so, please do subscribe. I'll be adding lots more tutorials soon. And as always, if there's anything you'd like to see, however simple, a miniature or a piece of furniture in 1/12 scale, then just drop me a line. I'll put my details below, and I'll do my best to include it here for you. Thank you for watching.